I like it.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that. Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And welcome back to Live Raw Uncut Sports Talk with my man, Beasty Combs. I tried something new. It didn't work, so we had to reset the stream. Bada bing, bada boom. We're back live on YouTube, so hopefully the people that were watching come back over. My bad, Combsy. We'll do some magic on the backside and hold that on together.
You gotta treat this show like you treat your wife, man. You can't be trying that new stuff because then she's gonna be wondering what happened, where you learned it from, and why it's all fucked up. Like you can't be doing that stuff here.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do because I'm always trying to improve and sometimes it backfires on me, I guess, a little bit. But we had a little rant about Cam Akers here, and now, Beastie, it is time to get into your power rankings. People have been what's the word I'm looking for? Up in arms about your power rankings all day long. You've been blocked at least by 3 or 4 people on the old Facebook page that I know of, just off the top of my head,
Davis.
By having good conversations. So let's start at the bottom there, and coming in at number 10 on these power rankings, you do have the Tennessee Titans coming in at number 10. Or no, I am totally sorry. Messed that up. Scratch that. 100%. You had the Titans come in at number 7. Coming in at number 10, you do have the New York Football Jets. Why do you have the Jets at number 10?
So, I mean, like you, they're shooting at like 70% right now, right? Like they're just they're missing on a couple of things. And look, the Jets are one of those teams. They're coming off a really bad loss. I think that loss to the Patriots was a really bad loss. After watching what the Bears did to them, and the Jets right now are a much better team than the Chicago Bears are, unfortunately, as much as that hurts me to say. They're just a better team right now. And you go in there and you really want to make a statement that you're here, you're in the division, you're making an announcement, and who better to make it against than the New England Patriots, who have owned this division for the last 20 plus years. And instead, you go in and you lay an egg, and you lay an egg at home too. So to me, that was a bad loss. So I did drop them. I believe I had them at 7 last week. I dropped them down to 10. It's basically because of this loss. I still think they're a good team. I still think they can rebound, but they got the Buffalo Bills this weekend. I don't think they're going to win again this weekend. So it's going to be a tough go for the Jets. Jets fans are going to be like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, and I actually sat here on the Man Hour last night, and I said that the New York Football Jets may not win another game for the rest of the season. Not because they're not a good football team, just because the momentum factor, it is not going to be on their side moving forward because they play the Buffalo Bills twice in the next 3 weeks, right? 4 weeks. They play the Patriots again, and then they play, I believe it was the Ravens, I think.
The Bears, they got the Vikings.
Yeah,
they got the Lions, the Jaguars. I mean, those are some really winnable games. I mean, especially with the moves that the Bears made. I mean, we'll talk about that in a little bit here, but you know, the Vikings are a tough team. They're 6-1. Unfortunately, they don't get to play them on Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night. So a primetime game, which where Kirk Cousins tends to fail. But they still got the Lions and the Jaguars on the schedule. I mean, those are 2 very winnable games for the Jets.
Right.
They got the Bears on the schedule. That's a winnable game for them. So if they could win 3 or 4 more games, I mean, that's still going to be an 8 to 9 win season for a Jets team that was not supposed to be very good. And a lot of people were wondering what they were going to be moving forward. I like Robert Saleh. I like what Robert Saleh is doing. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that they're not going to win another game. But I do agree. I think they could still win this next game against the Patriots. I do think they're out of their league with the Bills. I think a lot of teams in this league are out of their league with the Bills.
Everybody.
So yeah. So I do think that it's a possibility they sink into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility just because it seems over half of the teams in the league right now are below 500, right? So I mean, it's a very wide open playoff race right now. Anyways, but coming in at number 9, you do have a team that many people are very, very surprised about, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. If you guys remember, not even 3 months ago, we didn't even know who the Seattle Seahawks quarterback was going to be. We all thought Geno Smith was going to shit the bed the first 2 weeks, and like Drew Lock was going to come in. And Beasty, Seattle Seahawks are surprising a lot of people right now, and you have them coming in at number 9. Why do you have them at number 9?
Well, they are 5-3. They are leading the NFC West. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to have them in at number 9. I mean, I would almost argue you could probably have them a little bit higher than where they're at. And Geno Smith is, I think, was he completing like 73% of his passes right now?
Yeah.
And he's like, the guy is just lighting it up when he's out there, and he's not making a ton of mistakes. I believe he's got like 13 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, somewhere in that ballpark. And he's surprising me. I don't know if this is something where you can hang your head on. This is either A, Geno Smith being better than what people thought he was, or B, the greatest coaching job of all time. What else can you call this? Because we know what Geno Smith was, right? We saw Geno Smith in New York with the Jets. We know what he was. But what he's doing now is not what he was. So is it a product of Pete Carroll's system? Is it a product of the coaching staff and how they're using him? Or is the fact that he's completing 73% of his passes due to the fact that he's got an offensive line that he trusts, he's got weapons that he trusts, they've got a decent run game, and their defense is playing pretty damn well right now too. So that's why they're in at number 9. I would say, if anything, you can't argue that they belong lower. You would say that they belong higher.
Yeah, and I believe that was some of your debates happening on Facebook earlier today, is that the Seahawks were so low on these power rankings. But hey, let's not put the cart before the horse. Yes, they've had a couple good weeks, a few good games, but their slate of games do get a tad bit harder. And now there's film, and we're starting to go the second time around on these teams as well. Speaking of second time around, the Miami Dolphins, Combs, this is a team that you had pretty high in the power rankings to start the year. They started off the season 3-0. Tua got hurt. You knocked him out. And then they had a pretty, if you want to call it, impressive win over the Detroit Lions over the Sunday here. But you have them coming in at number 8. Why do you have them even in the power rankings at 4-3 right now?
Well, they're 5-3.
Yep.
They're 5-3, and the reason why I have them in the power rankings is Tua's back, Tua's healthy. They get the Bears this weekend, and look, and not only that, but the upgrade of Bradley Chubb, to me, it really boosts this defense. This defense that was really struggling to stop the run, as we saw against the Detroit Lions. And now you bring in Bradley Chubb from the Denver Broncos, and it really gives you a good spot. Not only that, they got the running back, I can't remember his name, from San Francisco. Why can't I think of his name?
Morris, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, something like that. But they got the running back who was supposed to be the San Francisco 49ers starter, but then they went out and got CMC. So they upgraded that running back, especially with Mostert back there as well. I really like what the Dolphins are doing. I do like the Dolphins offense. I like Waddle. I like what Tua's been able to do. Tua's made a believer out of me. I was not a believer in Tua prior to this season. Minus the fact that I think that if he gets hit wrong, he might die on the field in front of our eyes. I still like what Tua's doing. He's actually proven himself to me and what he can do with this offense. So that's why I have him at number 8, and that's why I don't have them, going down in the rankings or even out of the rankings.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about Tua. He is not a very good quarterback in my eyes. Those receivers that he has does make them a little bit better. But another team that has kind of just been sneaking along here, Combs. I mean, this team has quietly put together a very, very good record, and that is the Tennessee Titans, and you have them coming in at number 7. This team, to me, has been very impressive, if not one of the most impressive teams thus far, but besides the Buffalo Bills. But why do you have them coming in at number 7?
So I really like what they're doing. I do like Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is going to be a stud in this league. And obviously Derrick Henry can carry the load. We've seen it time in and time out that even when this team is down in the fourth quarter, they will continue to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, and he finds a way to win the game for them. But they've put together a really good season, like you talked about. I mean, you're talking about a team right now that is sitting at 5-2. Their losses have come to a very good Giants team and a very good Buffalo Bills team, and they've won every game since then, right? They started out the season slow, started out 0-2, and ever since then, they are 5-0. With wins over Vegas, at Indy. They beat Washington. They beat Indy again. They beat Houston. They do have, I believe they have a bye week this week, or do they have Kansas City this week?
It's Kansas City this week.
It's Kansas City this week. Okay. So they've got Kansas City, and that's right. They had their bye week in week 6. So it's going to be a tough test. Look, crazy things have happened in this NFL. And so I would not be shocked to see Tennessee walk out of Kansas City with a victory. Like, it's just every time I think a team this season is going to walk all over somebody, they end up losing the game. So yeah. I think Kansas City is going to walk all over Tennessee, but I would not be shocked if Tennessee comes out and wins this game by like 2 scores or something. Like, that's just the NFL that we live in. There's so much parity.
Yeah, this NFL season is by far one of the best ones that I've remember in recent memories. And speaking of recent memory here, the Dallas Cowboys have not been they've been good in the regular season in recent memory, but they just don't do very well in the postseason. And that's exactly who you have coming in at number 6, and that is the Dallas Cowboys, the 5-time Super Bowl champions, right? Yeah. But why do you got them coming in at number 6 and not higher? Because I think this was another one of your big debates.
So, yeah, this one was definitely a big debate. This one got Wade Davis to block me on Facebook because he didn't like the fact that I told him the truth or the fact that his argument was making my case for me. But look, this is a team that is a very good team. They can play with you, but they're also coming off of a week where, yes, they did win by 20 points. They scored 49 points and beat the Bears 49-29. But they allowed 29 points against the Chicago Bears. The Bears exposed this defense. The Bears exposed the fact that you could run all over this defense all you want. So I didn't like what I saw for them against the Bears defensively. Michael Parsons' injury is another concern for me. And this team, look, they're what are they, 5-2 now? They're 6-2. And they've got the Packers this week. They should win this game. The Packers are not a very good team. And so I just, to me, they got the Packers next week. They're on a bye week this week. But this team, to me, should be a team that should walk away with the NFC East. But the Eagles are better than them. The Giants are better than them right now. So to me, they're the third best team in the NFC East.
Wow. How does that Horace statement come out of your mouth, Taste? Because the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC, hands down.
Your closet Cowboys.
They are better than that trash Philadelphia Eagles team. They're definitely better than the New York Giants because it did beat them head-to-head, right? And that's all that matters. Go ahead.
How can a team that you say that's all that matters, they beat them head-to-head? Well, the Eagles beat them.
I was making a statement for Wade over there on Facebook.
Undefeated team?
What's that?
How can they be better than an undefeated team?
Eye test.
How can they be better than a team that beat them head to head?
Well, if you want to go that route, that is who you have coming in at number 5, a team that beat them head to head, and that is the New York Giants coming in at number 5. Why do you have them at 5 and not the Cowboys?
Because the Giants have been playing better football over the last 4 or 5 weeks. The Giants don't have that loss to the Eagles. The Giants to me are right now a more complete team. I trust their defense more than I trust Dallas's defense. They did have who did the Giants? I forget who the Giants played this past weekend.
Seahawks, and they lost.
The Seahawks, right? But the Seahawks are a team that we said a lot of people didn't see coming. And not only do they have the Seahawks, but then, they've got the Texans and Lions before they finally get to play the Cowboys again. So they should win 2 more games before they even play the Cowboys. And the Cowboys might have 2 more losses before they play the Giants. So that's another thing that we have going on. I like what the Giants are doing. There's a lot of rumors talking that they are open to bringing to a reunion with OBJ. That's another reason that factored into me having them over the Cowboys, is because if they sign OBJ, forget it. They're better than the Cowboys all the way around. So that's why I have the Cowboys better than the Giants better than the Cowboys, is because just plain and simple, they're better than the Cowboys.
As a wise man once told me, you can what if until your face is blue, but until it happens, it's not going to happen. Wayne G, 2019, right? So, the OBJ is probably not going to go back to the Giants. I bet you OBJ goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, because the Kansas City Chiefs will be the Super Bowl champions this year, and he wants to win another Super Bowl ring, and that's who you have coming in at number 4, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs, still unmoved for the last 3 weeks. Why have you not moved them up or down in your power rankings?
So the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, well, they had a bye week, so it's hard to move them up or down. I believe in the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe in Patrick Mahomes. I do think that they're one of those teams that no matter what they do, they can surprise you. And no matter what you do, they're just one of those teams that you don't bet against, right? Like I always say, you don't bet against Tom Brady. Well, I'm also not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes and his Kansas City Chiefs team just yet. Now, they got a tough test this week. They got the Titans. I do expect them to come out with a victory before I believe they got the Jaguars and Chargers and the Rams before they finally get tested again against the Bengals. Now, the Chargers could be a test too if the Chargers start playing freaking decent football. They're aggravating the hell out of me this year. But they're just one of those teams, right? Like they might, if they lose to the Titans this week, they're going to move down in the power rankings. Now, if they beat the Titans this week, it just depends on what the 3 teams above them do, because how do you move them above those 3 teams? It's going to be hard to do if all of them win.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying, but it's also about how you win, like how sexy you are, right? Like, what if the Kansas City Chiefs go out there and freaking just pound them, right? Pound them in the throat, and the other teams above them, like, stumble. Like, coming in at number 3, you do have the Minnesota Vikings. Why do you have them at 3?
Well, for one, the Minnesota Vikings have a better record. So that's the first reason why I have them there. And the Minnesota Vikings have proven that they are just that damn good. People are sleeping on them. They've beaten, they've beaten the Packers, which right now aren't looking very good. Their only loss this season has come to the undefeated Eagles. They beat the Lions. They beat the Saints, who have looked pretty decent over the last few weeks. They beat the Bears. They beat the Dolphins. They beat the Cardinals. They're beating everybody that's in front of them. They're beating everybody on their schedule. Now, they have the Commanders this week. They have the Bills next week. And so it's going to be a test. And then after the Bills, they have the Cowboys. So you're going to know really quick over the next 3 weeks whether or not the Vikings are pretenders or contenders. And that game, I think it's the 4th game out of that is the Patriots, and that's on Sunday Night Football. We all know what happens to to Kirk Cousins on primetime games, right? Yep. So that's the other thing that they have going for them. These games against the Bills, the Cowboys, and the Commanders are not in primetime games, so you should get Kirk Cousins at his best. I believe in this Vikings team. I think they're going to walk away with the North. I believe they have a 3.5, maybe a 4-game lead right now in the North. They're going to walk away with this division, and they're pretty damn good. I really like their offense. I love Justin Jefferson. I love Dalvin Cook. I love what this team looks like. Defensively, they're strong. And they just find a way to win. So that's why I have the Minnesota Vikings at 3.
Yeah, so before we get into the rest of the power rankings, I see my man Alpha Rob in the chat. What's up, Alpha Rob? We see Combsy Jr. in the chat as well. But I do have to point out something here, Combs. Within the last couple minutes, you've your voice has started to sound like a little like Alvin and the Chickmonkish. So it's going to be great for some clips, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a connection
Alvin
issue.
and the Chipmunkish.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I don't. It's just kind of funny.
God.
But what is even more funny is you having the Philadelphia Eagles at number 2. Why do you have the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, the best team in the NFL, at number 2? Tell me why. Now we don't have your voice no more.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. You sound a lot better. Wow. What happened?
See, I turned on my mic and turned it off. It's just a little bit of a reset. But anyway, why do I have the Eagles at number 2? Because the Eagles are undefeated. And even though they're undefeated, I still don't believe they're a better football team than the Buffalo Bills. Earlier in one of the arguments, one of the guys said, if they were in the AFC, they'd be like the 7th or 8th best team in the AFC. Well, while I don't believe that, I also don't believe that if they had to play the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm not so sure that they would come out on top. So while, yes, they are undefeated, to me, the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the NFL. And I just can't have them above them. They are a great team, though. They're playing tomorrow night on Thursday night. That's kind of my upset pick of the week, though. Watch for the Texans on Thursday Night Football, because it's Thursday Night Football for one. It's a short week for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're undefeated. The Texans are going to want to end that streak. And I mean, I don't expect them to lay down, but I just have a feeling. And it's just kind of what the NFL has done this year, right? So don't be surprised if the Houston Texans walk out of tomorrow night with a victory and the Eagles are no longer undefeated.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
That's why I have them at number 2.
Yeah, I actually have them losing that game as well. And actually, talk about losing streaks. The Philadelphia Eagles, if you look at their schedule moving forward, Combs, they could possibly not win another game for the rest of the season. They could start out 7-0 and end up 7-10. Look at their schedule, man. It is tough for the rest of the second half of the year.
Texans, the Commanders.
Loss. Hey, a Commanders team that looked really freaking good against the Packers, and Tyler Heineke is coming into his own.
The Packers, they got the Packers on the schedule, a Packers team that tried getting a new wide receiver this week and lost out to the Chicago Bears.
But you cannot sleep on the Commanders. The Commanders are good.
You want to know what's going to happen with the Green Bay Packers? Aaron Rodgers is going to have some sort of injury this week. He's going to end up getting surgery on his
Pause. We'll be talking about that a little bit. Do not spoil it, Combs. Do not spoil it. Trip, dude, come on, man. What are you doing? Coming in at number 1, Combs, you do have the best team in the NFL. That's right. The best team in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills. Why do you have them there?
Because they're the Buffalo Bills, and that's exactly where the frick they belong. I mean, this team is so damn good. I mean, what is their average margin of victory? It has to be something by at least 3 scores. It's crazy how much they outscore their opponents. Their victories are 31-10, 41-7, 23-20, 38-3, 24-20, and 27-17. Like, these guys they beat up on you. They don't allow a ton of points, and they just outscore you. So, they got the Jets this week. I expect them to fully destroy the Jets. And then they get the Vikings next week, which should be the game of the week. So That's the Bills are there because they belong there. They're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, I understand why people want to put these undefeated teams at number one. Oh crap, I pushed the wrong button. But with that being said, Combs Jr. is puking because he has the Bills at number one. And then Alpha Rob is jumping for joy because you had the Bills at number one. You cannot please everybody because the Patriots just flat out suck right now. I don't care if they beat the Jets or not. The Patriots are complete trash. Probably won't never win another game in the rest of the season either. There's 3 winless teams for the rest of the season. But
Junior's a Packers or a Patriots fan, so of course he's going to puke about the Buffalo Bills. But look, they are 100 times better than the New England Patriots. I'm so happy to say that.
Yeah. So both of the boys are out here, and we have 2 pantless boys. So be prepared if you see some wieners. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm just putting it out there. This is live, raw, uncut sports talk, and I am glad you did bring. I am glad you did bring up the Green Bay Packers earlier, and the Green Bay Packers made 0 moves before the trade deadline, and they wanted to get a receiver. They possibly wanted to get some defensive help as well, and they struck out on everything. Aaron Rodgers came out on the Pat McAfee show and basically said, we are going to be fine. We will win with the players that we got. So, Combs, on this way or no way Wednesday here, will the Packers be okay, and will they make the playoffs?
Buck, you remember at the beginning of the season when I said the Green Bay Packers are maybe an 8 to 9 win team?
Yeah.
And do you remember when, who was it? Let's say our buddy with the hair, whose name we won't mention, laughed at me and said if they only win 8 to 9 if they only have 8 to 9 wins, he would cut his hair.
I believe that was Mr. Waffle himself. Yeah, I definitely have that clip. Yeah.
So right now they are 3-5. I think they're going to be 3-6 after this weekend. And what I think is going to happen is prior to this Cowboys game, they're going to announce that Aaron Rodgers is going to have surgery on that thumb that he keeps every time that he gets sacked. He holds it because he wants to hold on to the fact that he's injured, so that's why they're not playing so well. And he's going to be done for the rest of the season, and then he's going to retire. Aaron Rodgers is not going to win with his team. The Green Bay Packers are not going to be fine. Jordan Love is going to be at the helm, and they are going to get destroyed the rest of the season. And I am here for every freaking second of it. I am here. Dude, I've been waiting for this day for 30 straight years of Hall of Fame quarterback play is what the Packers have been blessed with. And now you're going to have to deal with Jordan freaking Love. God, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to Tori when this happens. I can't wait to talk to Wyatt when this happens. We need to have one of those 4-man sets again where we sit there just so I can just laugh and I won't even say nothing. I'm just going to laugh every time they start talking. I am here for every second of it. The Packers are not going to be fine. The fact that they missed out on Chase Claypool to the Bears is going to sting them for a long time. I'm sure it did not make Aaron Rodgers very happy. They did not make any moves. They did not get better. His receivers are still learning, and they're still rookies, and they're still half garbage. So it's not going to get any better. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the patience to teach anybody. Aaron Rodgers does not have the leadership to teach anybody. So no, the Packers will not be fine. The Packers are done.
I am glad you said those words there. He does not have the leadership or the patience to teach anybody the game. If he doesn't have those 2 factors as a quarterback, knowing damn well he's asking for like $60 million a season and they can't pay the best freaking receiver in the league, and now he's struggling as well, I mean, why would you put yourself in that situation? So obviously, Aaron Rodgers is all about himself right now, 100%. There's no question in my mind that he just basically wanted to make some money and basically right off into the sunset, thinking that somehow the defense was going to carry them. That's trash-ass defense with Jair Alexander. Yes, he's good. Man, I don't understand, man. Like, every time we're on Combs, I sneeze my ass off. But with that being said, no way, Combs, you are exactly right. There is no way that the Green Bay Packers are going to win. Hell, they may not even win 7 games this year at this current rate, just because Dobbs is out, their number one receiver right now with a concussion. Randall Cobb is injured again. Imagine that. Sammy Watkins is injured again. Imagine that. Aaron Jones is basically a shell of himself. That defense is terrible, giving up like 154 points a game. It's just stupid. Like the Packers are complete trash right now. And I'm going to do you one better, Combs. Aaron Rodgers might be hanging on to his thumb, right? If they lose this game, he might flat out retire after this game. He's like, you know what? F it. I'm done. See ya.
Well, not only that, but after this game, I mean, they've got in succession, they've got the Cowboys, Titans, and Eagles.
Yeah.
So
all good defenses.
If you lose this game really quick, you're going to find yourself at 3-6. You lose, and then you're going to find yourself at 3-9.
Yeah. Losing season.
I'm here for every second of it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy right now, Buck.
Yeah. I understand you are happy about the suffering that the Green Bay Packers are getting ready to take, but I feel like you even more happier because Chase Claypool is coming to Chicago. So guys, Chase Claypool did get traded to the Chicago Bears on Tuesday before the deadline, and we all kind of thought the Bears were kind of having like this fire sale, which like we'll kind of get into that later. But Combs, way or no way, Chase Claypool instantly makes the Chicago Bears team a playoff contending team.
No way. Look, I'm excited about the move. I love the pickup of Chase Claypool. I think it's a great move. But I think it's a move for the future. The Bears did not become a playoff team just because of this. They're playing a lot better on offense over the last 2 weeks, and adding Chase Claypool to that, we finally have a guy who has number one wide receiver capabilities. I'm not saying he is a true number one wide receiver just yet, but you have to look at what he did his rookie year as kind of a staple as to what he can be, right? Where I believe he had something like 13 touchdown catches, and I believe he had 100 catches that year. But over the last 2 seasons, he's played with a quarterback who was well beyond the time where he should have retired. And this year he's been playing with Mitch Trubisky, and us Bears fans know what that's all like. So it's not. I don't feel like the last 2 seasons is something you can grade Chase Claypool's ability on, right? I believe Chase Claypool can be a number one wide receiver in this league. And then when you put him alongside with a guy who I've been saying can be a number 2 or even a nice number 3 in Darnell Mooney, you can have a really dynamic offense, right? Then you got to get Cole Kmet going. And I'm hoping that, reuniting with Chase Claypool, the 2 Notre Dame guys, I'm hoping that Cole Kmet will get it going because he's been a real big disappointment for me anyway, from what I expected him to be coming out of Notre Dame. Being a big Notre Dame fan myself, I watched him closely, and I expected a lot more than what he's been able to produce. I really like what I've seen out of this offense over the last 2 weeks. 33 points up against the New England Patriots, who are easily a top 10 defense in this league. And then going into Dallas and being the first team to put up over 20 points on them. That I like what I see from them. They're finally calling RPOs. They're finally doing that. What gives me pause for concern, though, is the offensive play calling. I hope that the addition of Chase Claypool doesn't give them the idea that maybe you can start going back to the 4 and 5 step drops. Continue to run the RPOs, continue to get Chase Claypool, continue to roll Justin Fields out of the pocket and allow him to find Chase Claypool as opposed to just giving them 4 to 5 step drops, because regardless of adding Chase Claypool, we still don't have the offensive line that can pass block. And we run the ball great. Justin Fields runs the ball great, and he has shown that when he is on the move, he can find guys and he can hit them on target. So keep doing what you're doing. Now, that being said, I don't think that gives you victories against some of these other teams that you're about to play. Like I don't think that you're going to beat the Miami Dolphins this weekend. I hope you do, and I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope you are a playoff team. But after the Dolphins, you get a chance to win a few games in a row, right? Because you get the Lions, Falcons, Jets,
and then the Packers, who we just talked about. Oh God, how much fun it would be to be able to face the Packers when you're 3-9, when they're 3-9, and you're somewhere at 6-6 even, or 7-5, whatever you might be at that point. How great that would be. And then you go ahead and you beat them, but then you get the Eagles and the Bills and the Vikings. So it's going to be a tough sledding. I don't think they're a playoff team, but maybe. If anybody can screw the fact up that you might have a really good early first round draft pick and then go and just get a middle round guy, and they'll probably, being a Bears fan, being a cynical Bears fan, they'll probably end up drafting like a defensive lineman instead of offensive lineman. So, I'm optimistic, right? Like I'm hopeful that this was a step in the right direction. I'm hopeful that they finally saw, hey, to me, this was a sign that we're about to build around Justin Fields.
Okay.
That's what this was a sign of.
Okay. So I agree with you that no way the Bears are a playoff team. I think their schedule moving forward is just a little bit too tough. You said the Falcons were a automatic win. What? The Falcons are first in the NFC South. The Falcons are
said it's a winnable game. There is no automatic wins for the Bears.
Yeah, they're not going to beat the Falcons. They're not going to beat the Lions. They're not going to beat the Packers. Hell, the Bears could be 5-9 or like whatever going into the Packers game. But I digress from that. The couple things that I want to point out is that you did say that Juju had 13 touchdowns with 100 catches with his rookie year. Who did he play with that rookie year? It was a receiver by the name of Juju Smith-Schuster that was at his freaking pinnacle at that point. They were doubling and triple teaming that guy, so Chase Claypool was able to run free. Once Juju went down with the injury the following year, Chase Claypool had to step up and be that number one guy. His production went way down really, really fast. Therefore, that tells you that he cannot be a number one receiver. Okay, I get it. Ben Roethlisberger over the hill. He should have retired years ago, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fast forward to this season. Same thing. He is not a number one receiver. He is a solid number two. He is
from Mitch Trubisky, Buck.
Okay, but
Mitch Trubisky.
He is still not a number one receiver in any team whatsoever. He is a good two, if not a number three. He is a great complementary wide receiver. When he has a chance to run against zone coverage, one-on-one coverage, he's a pretty good receiver. Let's say a top 10 receiver if he has that ability. But when you are a true number one on a team, you are going to get double teamed. You are going to get bracketed. You're not going to get the number two or a linebacker on you every play. You're going to get the best cornerback every play. And you can say the Chicago Bears are making steps in the right direction, but everything that you just said is going to prove my point. Now that they think they have a number one red receiver in Chase Claypool, they're going to start throwing the ball again and being ignorant again. They're going to get Justin Fields killed just when they started to get healthy and get right. I love the RPOs that they are running. Very successful against the Patriots. Very successful against the Dallas Cowboys.
I've been screaming for it all year, haven't I, Buck?
What?
Haven't I been screaming for it all year?
Right. You have been screaming for it all year. But the minute you think you get a number one receiver, what do you want to do? You want to play with the new shiny toys. And
that's what you might be right. I mean, that's what the Bears are prone to do. That's what their coaching staff has always been. I'm hopeful that what they're starting to do now, because in years past, the Bears wouldn't have traded for a wide receiver.
Right. Well,
the Bears wouldn't have tried to get better. They wouldn't have tried to improve. I hope this is a sign that, look, we know what we need to do and we're going to start doing it. And I said that, like, I'm scared that they might get stupid or ignorant, like you said. I'm scared that that's going to happen because I'm a Bears fan and I'm just shell-shocked into that's our reality because that's what we always end up having to deal with. But I hope that this is a sign that things are going to change. And if this is a sign of things that are going to change, then they could be an 8-9 win team, like I had said at the beginning of the season.
I mean, and I definitely see your valid point there, But also on the flip side of the coin, earlier in the show, we were saying that the Chicago Bears were trying to make a move for Cam Akers. So clearly they're not satisfied with their tailback right now. So I feel like they're truly just going to take the RPO game out for the next several weeks, get Justin Fields killed, maybe put up 6-8 points tops, and they're going to be right back to square one again. And as your friend, I feel sorry for you because your Bears have built you up, saying, "Hey, we are going to do well. We're going to do well," and then crashing back down to reality. Come on, man.
Yeah, you know what though, you got to know me by now, right? Like I don't expect them to ever be good. Like so they're not going to crush me down. They're going to crush other Bears fans down, but they're not going to crush me down. It would not surprise me one bit if they go back to this and Justin Fields freaking gets murdered and gets a concussion on Sunday against the Dolphins.
Simmer down now. We don't wish evil on anybody, Ricky Bobby, but what we do wish evil on is people that lie to us. Roquan Smith said he was, quote, Combs, "I was shocked by the trade to the Baltimore Ravens." Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't this the same linebacker that wanted to trade earlier in the season from the Chicago Bears? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Or he wanted to get paid, but they wanted to get traded. Whatever. In the end, way or no way, Roquan Smith is straight out lying to our faces about being, quote, shocked by this trade, Combs.
I mean, I'll say way. I don't think he was shocked. I think the writing was on the wall. I don't know if anybody saw it, but when they traded Robert Quinn, they asked Roquan about it, and he had learned about it through the media while he was answering questions. So he got a little emotional. And the thing around here that everybody was asking was, did he get emotional because he was so attached to Robert Quinn, or did he get emotional because he knew that was probably him that was going to be next? Look, this guy, he wanted to be paid as if he was a top 3 linebacker in this league. And I'm not going to say that he's not, because I personally believe that Roquan Smith is a top 3 linebacker in this league. I believe Roquan Smith, who leads the NFL right now in tackles, is a guy who can help you stop the run, is a guy who can help you pass rush. But that being said, this was the right trade for the Bears at the right time, because this is a weak side linebacker in your system right now that doesn't work for your system right now. In the system that Matt Eberflus runs, a weak side linebacker is just as disposable as a third string defensive lineman. Like he bears no bearing on what's going to happen. I think that anybody you put in that spot will be just, I won't say as effective, because when you lead the entire NFL in tackles, it means you're a ball hawk. You can get to the ball. But for what they're trying to run and what their scheme is, he was an expendable piece. And he was a piece that you can get something for. And essentially what they did and what they traded him for was a 2nd and a 5th, and they got the Klein kid, who probably gets cut by the weekend. But they got that 2nd and the 5th, and then what they did was turn that 2nd, their own 2nd, and they got Chase Claypool out of that. So to me, you traded Roquan Smith for Chase Claypool and a 5th round draft pick. And I'm okay with that. Yes. I'm okay with that, because you traded to get better and to build around your franchise quarterback. And to me, that was a smart trade. It was a great trade.
So with that being said, we were kind of talking earlier in the show, addition by subtraction makes a team better, right? So the Chicago Bears traded 2 defensive players to basically get a receiver in the end. Did the Bears improve by these trades?
So I've been back and forth with this. So when the Roquan Smith trade happened, I was like, man, that's a bad trade. Like, I think you got fleeced. I think you should have gotten more for Roquan Smith. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, it's kind of like with at work, right? Like, you tell your manager, look, I I see what we're doing, but I want to know what the plan is moving forward. Like, I don't want excuses as to why we're doing this or why we're doing that. I want to know what the plan is. And that's what I started thinking about the Bears. I'm like, all right, you did this for Roquan, you did this for Robert Quinn, you're stockpiling draft picks, but what is the plan moving forward? And then that was answered by the addition of Chase Claypool. And you still got the second round from the Ravens. You still got the 5th round from the Ravens. You still got the 4th round pick from the Eagles for Robert Quinn. So you still got those draft picks, and you're still stockpiling draft picks. And you're going to have, I believe they're going to have something like 6 picks in the first 4 rounds, which for Bears fans is a sigh of relief, because we haven't had a first round pick since we had Ryan Pace as our general manager, because he just trades it all the damn time. So I like the direction they're heading. I really like the direction Ryan Poles has this team. I think that they got better with this trade. They may not be better this weekend. They may not be better this season, but for the future, they got better with this trade.
So you are saying that they're going to get better through the draft, or do you think Chase Claypool is going to end up being that guy?
Both.
Okay.
I think Chase Claypool, even if you go out and get a number one, and this is another argument that I had on Facebook, was, people are like, oh, I don't think Chase Claypool's a number one, blah, blah, blah. They're in one, I said, I think he's got number one potential. And then this other guy comes back and says, well, I could name at least 7 other starters that I'd rather have as a wide receiver 1 over Chase Claypool. I said, yeah, I could probably name you 20 I'd rather have over Chase Claypool. But would you rather have Chase Claypool at a small price tag, who is a capable wide receiver number 1, and allows you the flexibility because of his price tag to go out and build more around your franchise quarterback? So to add more pieces, would you rather have a very good piece with good pieces around him, or would you rather have a great piece with a price tag that doesn't allow you to get those other good pieces?
Good pieces.
And so
yep.
That's I would go with Chase Claypool. If you can go out and you can get another wide receiver 1 capable type guy, and then it doesn't even matter if you have a wide receiver 1. You can name a wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 1A. Like, you could have that, and then you add Darnell Mooney into that mix, and then you add the offensive line pieces that can actually pass block for you. You might be a dangerous team moving into the future.
Looks like I lost Combsy for some reason. There he is.
No, you lost yourself.
You're back, yeah. My internet.
Yeah, no, you went away, and then the feed went gone. Now it's back again, it looks like.
Yeah, my bad.
So
I don't know what's going on. Jeez. It's bedtime. But guys, that is going to be it for the Man Hour. Tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. East Coast time, right here on youtube.com/Man Hour. I'm actually going to try to work on the Facebook thing right after the show is over, so hopefully it gets working tomorrow. But we'll figure it out. But Combs, any closing thoughts before we head out, big guy?
Yeah, hey, look, the Phillies are leading the World Series right now, 2-1. I might win a little bit of money there because I did pick the Phillies to win in 6 and Bryce Harper to be the MVP. I'm hoping that both of those things hit for me. But my MVP of the World Series forever, even if the Phillies don't win, is going to be Kyle Schwarber. You know why, Buck?
Why is that?
Because Kyle Schwarber stole a base in Game 1 and got me a free taco from Taco Bell.
Jesus.
Kyle Schwarber is my MVP. And at that note, Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Free tacos.
Taco Tuesday.